Giving too much feels noble, until the day it quietly starts destroying you. There's a story that's becoming more common than people realize. Not something dramatic like a crime or a scandal, but something quieter. Something happening inside millions of lives every single day. It's the story of people who give endlessly to the wrong people. Imagine this. You wake up early, tired, but still willing to help. You answer messages immediately. You show up when no one else does. You say yes, even when every part of you wants to say no. You give your time, your energy, your attention, your care. And at first, it feels right. It feels like you're doing what a good person should do. But slowly, something begins to shift. The same people you go out of your way for stop saying thank you. They stop noticing your effort. They begin expecting it. What once felt like kindness starts turning into obligation. And before you realize it, you're no longer helping out of generosity. You're trapped in a pattern you don't know how to escape. This isn't just a personal issue. It's a pattern seen everywhere. In friendships, in families, in workplaces. People who give too much often attract those who take too much. Not always intentionally, but consistently. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The more you overgive, the more you teach others to undervalue you. Think about it. When you're always available, your presence loses its value. When you never say no, your yes means nothing. When you tolerate disrespect, you silently approve it. And when you constantly sacrifice yourself for others, you send a message. Your needs come last. At first, people might admire your kindness, but over time, some will begin to rely on it, and then take advantage of it. There's a moment many people describe, and it often hits hard. It's the moment you realize that if you stopped giving, the relationship would disappear. Not because you did something wrong, but because your value was never truly appreciated. It was only consumed. That realization can feel like betrayal. But more than that, it feels like loss. Loss of time, energy, and emotional investment. So why does this happen? Because giving feels good. It gives you purpose. It makes you feel needed. And for many, it becomes part of their identity. Being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who's always there. But there's a dangerous line between kindness and self-neglect. And many people cross it without even noticing. They ignore their own exhaustion. They silence their own needs. They convince themselves that being selfless is always the right thing to do. But what they don't see is that unchecked kindness can become a form of self-abandonment. And the cost? It shows up in different ways. Emotional burnout. Feeling drained even after doing good things. Resentment that builds quietly because deep down, you know you're giving more than you're receiving. Frustration that you can't express because you've trained everyone to see you as endlessly patient. Sometimes it even affects your self-worth. You start to wonder why people don't treat you better, why your efforts aren't reciprocated, why you feel invisible despite doing so much. But here's where the story changes. Because this isn't about becoming cold or selfish, it's about becoming aware. Healthy kindness has boundaries. It doesn't come from a place of fear or obligation. It comes from choice. It doesn't drain you completely. It sustains both you and the people around you. The difference is simple, but powerful. Giving should feel like an extension of your strength, not a constant sacrifice of it. There's a shift that happens when people start valuing themselves as much as they value others. They begin to pause before saying yes. They ask themselves, do I actually have the energy for this? They stop over-explaining when they say no. They understand that protecting their peace is not selfish. It's necessary. And something interesting happens. The people who were only there to take start to fade away. At first, that can feel uncomfortable, even painful, Because you're not just losing people, you're losing the version of yourself that existed to please them. But what replaces it is something far more valuable: respect, not just from others, but from yourself. And the relationships that remain, they become stronger, healthier, more balanced, because they're no longer built on one-sided giving, but mutual understanding. Here's the truth most people learn too late. Not everyone deserves your kindness at full capacity. Some people need limits, some need distance, and some need to experience what life is like without your constant support. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop giving where it's not valued. That doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you a wiser one. So if you've been feeling drained, unappreciated, or taken for granted, this might be the moment you start asking different questions. Not, how can I do more for others, but where am I doing too much for the wrong people? Because your time matters, your energy matters, and your kindness, real kindness, is far too valuable to be wasted on those who only know how to take. In the end, it's not about giving less. It's about giving smarter. And remembering that the right people will never make you feel guilty for having limits. They'll respect you more because of them. And don't forget to share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Until next time, protect your peace, value yourself, and remember, real strength is knowing when to stop giving.